What's good? Welcome to First Stream Podcast presented by Bet Rivers. On today's episode of First Stream Podcast, we'll be joined by Adam from the Burgundy and Gold Report, and our Chuck will drop by to get us all ready for the Belmont. We'll talk a little NBA, Miami versus Denver, and a running back got cut today, a one cut. Dalvin Cook, and we'll talk a little Dalvin Cook today as well, and where he may wind up. So we got a great show for you guys. I hope you all are ready. Buckle up. It's time to go. Y'all know how we do. Let's get it.
Yeah. First Stream Podcast. Yeah. Q Danny. Dre on the beat. You know. Yeah. What's your favorite squad? Tell me who you going with. First Stream Podcast, yeah, we keep it lit. We got the latest updates, we don't pump fake. Like, comment, share, we don't care, feel free to hate. We got great guests, join us, you should chime in. Houdini on the intro for the time being. Lady A, representing Washington. Pick Washington, everything Washington. Aunt Mo coming out of Dallas, you know the business. Said, them Georgia Bulldogs ain't quitting. Yeah, if you ain't watching sports, you ain't living. About to get my mattress Mac on, about to bet $1 million. Let's talk about it. We all grown and cool, we can talk about it. Before we hit the news, we gon' talk about it. Oh, you wanna bet? Let's pop a bottle, yeah.
Cast presented by Bet Rivers. I'm your host, Toothpick, aka Jokey Smurf, because I got a lot of jokes for you today. Like I said, we have a great lineup. Make sure you guys download that Bet Rivers app or go to www.betrivers.com. You must be 21 years or older to play. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the First Stream Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. The most important part of that whole thing is to tell a friend about First Stream Podcast. All right, listen, it's Thursday. You know we are all over the map on Thursdays, so some of my Smurfs will be running a little late. Let's bring in the one and only Smurfette. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm Smurfette.
Smurfette. There's only one.
No.
There's only one.
Yeah, you're right. It's only one Smurfette. That's why I'm not Harsh. I am not she. She is not me.
Oh, okay, sassy.
I'm sorry. I'm just Lady A.
Okay, got it. I got it. Listen, like I said, we're running a little behind today, but you know, we got our guests here. Everybody else will be in when they get in. Let's bring in Adam from the Burgundy and Gold Report. How you doing, Adam?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing well. Thanks.
All right. So I got to ask you too, because you are in the DMV. How's the air quality?
I'm actually upstate New York, so I'm a lot
that's
worse.
right.
I'm worse than everywhere right now. Like today's actually not that bad, but the past 2 days there's like the apocalypse up here. It's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, it's apocalyptic. I heard the skies are orange.
Yeah. They've cleared up now, but I don't know. Apparently, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's done yet. It sounds like this could go on most of the summer. So
It's really weird.
Not good.
Hey, mask up. If anything that COVID has taught us is how to put a mask on our face to protect our lungs, right? So do what you got to do. What's up to everyone in the chat? Droop said the DMV's air quality is terrible too.
Yeah.
Said told me, that's not how you introduce Lady A. Well, you should be worried about yourself when you pop in here. Said you should be worried about you. Said you Lady A get an HR update. Okay, Lady A. So Bruce is asking, did you get HR update from Tuesday?
Well, there's no real update that I received. It was more of some, I have to review the footage. You know how like when you do something
right
on camera, it's kind of silly because you think you're not going to get caught, but you on camera. You did it right in front of the camera.
Well, I know some people who hold guns in front of cameras and then come back and say it's a toy gun.
I just didn't think that you were going to do that and say that. But
Shaggy Shaggy said it wasn't me.
He did, and he went back and he talked about that recently. You know that, right?
It wasn't me.
He said that was not about cheating.
But the most important part was it wasn't me.
He said it was the opposite of cheating. It really wasn't him.
Okay, got it. Let's get into our Commanders update with Adam. And Adam, there's a couple of things that I want you to talk about. All right. How minicamp's been going for the Commanders. All right. First off, Sam Howell, we know that he's one start under his belt going into his second year and a new offense to boot. So we expect some ups and downs. What have you been hearing about Sam?
Yeah, no, really, really positive reviews. You know, I think some fans get caught up when they see the update tweets about him throwing interceptions in the red zone. But you understand this is install, so like partial install. So this is the time when he's going to take chances, things like that. But they said when they were outside, it was a lot of screen passes. That's what we're going to see a lot this year, which I'm really excited about because they were talking about Antonio Gibson. Finally, you know, as long as he can stay healthy, hold on to the ball, he'll be heavily involved in the screen game. They're going to have a lot of wide receivers involved. But they said when they went indoors where the reporters weren't available, that they were just letting Hal let it loose. And they said his arm is live. They said compared to all the quarterbacks we've had, he can make all the throws. Can he be great? That's still in question. But, you know, can he make all the throws? And he's answering that without a doubt. And, you know, right now the defense is shining. The defensive backs are shining. I think that's what we want to see in camp. You know, Forbes, it's unanimous right now between the receivers that they understand why he was a top 20 pick because he's just all over the place. It's not just about interceptions, which he's had a few. His length just allows him to, you know, get around the guys, and he hasn't been grabbing. And the one thing you see with rookies, you know, we'll wait for camp to be definitive on that, is a lot of times, you know, when they get out of position and their footwork is kind of sloppy, you know, there's a lot of grabbing going on. With Martin out of Illinois, our second rounder, and Forbes, they said they've just been all over the place and they're looking like veterans and they act like veterans. So that's the most important. But, you know, the biggest takeaway is, you know, Eric Bieniemy. You know, I wrote about it, you know, a couple days ago about how we haven't had an offensive coordinator like this probably since the days of Joe Gibbs, because I think, you know, a lot of them are, you know, lackadaisical, you know, but what I liked about him is he actually pulled a guy out of the huddle the other day. They're not saying who it was because it wasn't around the media, but he's getting fed up with, you know, anybody walk into the huddle, you know, not showing urgency because this offense is going to be predicated on quick game and tempo. And that also means getting to the huddle faster. You know, we've seen a lot over the years, delay games, like silly penalties. And what I'm happy about is they're saying that Eric Bieniemy is like, he's all about game management. He's all about situational football. Our guys are going to be used in constant motion, which we saw a little last year. But with this year, you know, you're going to see a lot more RPOs. Kansas City was ranked in the top 5 in that category. Washington, I think, was somewhere around 26 or something like that with just a few RPOs in the year. So we're going to see a lot of that, which really plays to Hal's strength. So I don't think that they're going to be asking him to throw 30, 35 times a game. And if we do see that, count on a lot of those passes being short passes and screens because they want to allow their receivers to get yards after the catch and really not, you know, put it on the offensive line to really, you know, what we saw with Turner's asking these, you know, 5, 6, you know, 7-step drops. You know, they're just going to be your quick game, you know, hike, get the ball out. So we're going to see a lot of that. And right now it's just early on, but from what everyone's saying that, you know, EB is well liked, but he's a disciplinarian. He's not going to take no BS. You know, he's actually pulled offensive linemen off the field. You know, he's, you know, pulled the offense totally off the field. So this is the kind of thing that, you know, I want to see during this time of year. But yeah, good reviews so far, but, you know, ups and downs with Hal. But again, that's to be expected with install.
Yeah. So you touched on something that I really wanted to ask a couple of different people, and I might as well start with you. Eric Bieniemy yelling, I guess is what is coming out. Eric Bieniemy yelling. It's like they're trying to make it a story. So my first question would be, have you been to other camps to see how other offenses work, and are they quiet? You know, so if you're just going to make this about Eric Bieniemy yelling, you've never been to any other camps, because I can remember playing football in high school, college, and I got yelled at. I was being coached hard. They were demanding the best, and they didn't say it in a peaceful, calm voice. This is not the NFL is not a place where everyone gets a participation trophy. There's only one trophy given at the end of the season, and a bunch of rings to that one team. Everyone doesn't get a ring. So, my question to you, Adam, is: have you seen other camps, and did you hear yelling?
I've seen a few teams, and I would say you don't see it too much. You usually see it more out of the defensive coordinators. And, we're hearing a lot of Coach Z for the defensive line. We're hearing a lot of that. But they're saying Eric Bieniemy is just, basically the one that's standing out of them all. So I would say it's not in the NFL. It's not that standard. I'm sure there is. I haven't been to all camps, but I'm sure there is. But, he's definitely standing out. He was known for this in Kansas City. Everyone, mentions he didn't call plays, but Andy Reid allowed him to run a lot of the practices. I think that's really gone under the radar. So Ron Rivera is letting them do the same. Not only that, they're bringing the players back for one day. So they're letting them go home wherever they live in the country, and they're flying them back. They're saying that's all Eric Bieniemy. He's single-handedly trying to change the way they do everything, the way the practice schedule. They're doing more mornings. So I think what you have in him is, a disciplinarian. It's going to rub some people the wrong way. And honestly, I think that's a big reason why he got so many interviews and probably not hired, because I think some of these teams, they're looking for the modern day players coach. And I think he's a total throwback. But what I love about him is he's a former running back. So he's going to commit to the run, but man, he is part of the Andy Reid coaching tree. We talk about Nagy and all these other guys. They didn't get the crap coming at Kansas City. They weren't calling plays either, but they seem to get all this praise. And it's more about, he's being loud and this is a 1 year prove it, which I do believe it is. But I think what he's really just trying to do is he's trying to, excuse being redundant, but the culture on the field, because it's just practices even under Ron Rivera, Jay Gruden, even Callahan when he was here. There's not a sense of urgency. You can ask anyone. I haven't really gone to camp in years, but the people I know that always tell me is camp is just always lackadaisical. You don't really hear any urgency. And that's why it just translates to the regular season. And I think what he's going to do at minimum is, I don't think we're going to see these delay game penalties. I don't think we're going to see these guys coming, getting 12 men on the field kind of thing. Because you saw it in the Super Bowl when the running back got loose. He told them, he said, listen, if you get loose, go down. And people might look at that as a little detail, but those are what he's about. He's all about the little details. So I think when it comes to the season, it's funny to me, people talk about the QB competition. Eric Bieniemy is not going to base this is his 1 year. Don't mistake it. This is his 1 year as offensive coordinator, in my opinion. He's going to go to a head coach. If it's not in Washington, it's going to be somewhere else. He is not going to put Brissett in. There's not a real, I think it's respect to the veteran, letting him know, we're going to give you an opportunity to compete, but you just don't have a guy like Sam Howell and don't give him the chance to start week 1. So I think that they're going to ride or die with him. And I think the only way Brissett plays is if there's an injury. And I think when you have Eric Bieniemy, he's going to put his quarterback in the best position to manage at minimum. But I think we saw in the Dallas game, Howell he's capable of much more than that. He's capable of, escaping pressure, and he may not be the biggest guy, but the difference between him and Taylor Heineke is Taylor Heineke's taking a hit, he's going down. You were seeing guys bounce off of Howell. So the comparisons with the height weight thing, throw that out the window. Howell is a different kind of cat. And I think that what separates him with the other young quarterbacks they've had, Robert Griffin, Dwayne Haskins, all them, he comes in with and then I'm just speaking what I hear, the type of professionalism that they've seen in 10-year veterans. There's basically as he's making a mistake before the coaches even get to say anything to him, he's always going to them, asking the question before they even say it to him. So I think right now with Eric Bieniemy and this young quarterback, it's the best situation because he's literally able to mold him like clay. And they it's even compared to Kansas City, which is crazy to say, they have more weapons. Kelsey might be better than everybody on Washington's offense, but they've got a lot of weapons that he'll be able to utilize and a lot of speed. So I think that, when all said and done, whatever happens, I have the floor for this season at eight wins. I don't know where all these people think that they're going to win 5-6 games, because I think you're not going to take a step back. The schedule is not blowing me away. And you're starting the season with Arizona, who's just getting started, no Kyler Murray. and then Denver with, granted, Peyton's there, but this is going to be
Right.
some growing pains with
growing pains. Yep.
with him and his, diva quarterback. We'll see if that's out the window. His teammates, they've been pretty vocal in the past year about how he was in the locker room, and he looks great. He's lost a bunch of weight, Russell Wilson. He looks like he's ready to go, but him and Peyton, it'll take time. So I think Washington has the opportunity to go 2-0 to start the season. I think that happens. That's the type of confidence that can really, lead to like a 10-11 season, which that's where I have the ceiling at.
Lady A.
So I agree with you, Adam, about Eric and changing the way that they practice. I went to OTAs as of like the end of May. He was yelling, he's screaming, he's cursing. I see that all the time in football. Like, that's what you see. That's what you expect a coach to do. Is it different for Washington? Yeah, because we didn't have that, let's say last year. We didn't have it. We didn't have it the year before that. So it may be different than what Washington has, but that is something that you see that's constant across football. So for people to say anything about it and making a big deal out of it, it's not a big deal. I mean, let's get over it, like, grow up. That's how I feel. But as far as our quarterback situation, watching, them practice and everything, I'm actually very pleased that Jacoby is going to be our QB2. I mean, and I'm leaning more towards Fromm for QB3. But
State Fromm?
Yes. I mean, just based off of everyone's performance. But Jacoby is a solid quarterback. I mean, he was very impressive. And then of course Sam. I've been singing his praises since last season. He was a rookie. I'm like, put the rookie in. Look at him. He's amazing. So I am happy to see him shine. So I agree with all that you said, Adam, based off of what I've seen with my own eyes.
All of them. All right. So listen, as we start to arrive, I have to bring in our guy here, the smartest person in the room. So Brainy Smurf, get in here. How are you?
Man, I sure appreciate you for telling the truth on that, man. I feel blessed that you would actually give me that. No, I mean, hey, I'm not boastful. I just appreciate it when my worth is saw. What's good on, Adam? How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. How you doing, man?
Now, if we talking draft, Adam got me. Adam got me.
No, it's all Commanders camp.
Look, he got to moisturize something. It ain't the hands, it's the lips.
Hey, bro, listen, what you ain't finna do is have me on this camera looking all crazy, man.
Do what you got to do to get the lady viewership up. Okay, Adam, I gotta ask you a question here about our wide receiver core. Okay, we know 1, 2, and 3 are taken care of. All right.
Right.
Who's our fourth receiver?
I think it's De'Ami Brown. I think that he hasn't been spectacular.
Look at him.
But he hasn't done enough to really be unseated yet. I'll say that I really like, Casimir Allen, the undrafted free agent out of UCLA, in the returner role. And, I think that they'll really be able to use him. But, he's been dealing with a hamstring injury, but that's a little bit of a setback. So right now, although Dax Milne caught a nice little touchdown today, I think that he's going to be struggling to make the roster because I think that there's better talent right now. But to me, right now, De'Ami Brown, unquestioned number 4. And saying that, I think, believe it or not, your receiver 4 is going to be Antonio Gibson. Even though he's going to be a running back, we're going to see a lot of two-back sets. He's going to get his hands on a lot of balls this year, get a lot of targets. So I think they're not going to take away targets to get De'Ami Brown involved. I think he's a guy that maybe gets, a snap or two a game here and there, unless there's an injury. Because I think, there's only enough balls to go around. And from everything I'm hearing, they really like the tight ends. Cole Turner has really looked well. Granted, he looked good last season before he went down. But, I wrote about Curtis Hodges, the 6'8", tight end out of Arizona State. Another guy that's, a true flex receiver, not really a tight end, not really impactful in the blocking game, but from what everyone says, Logan Thomas is back. He's showing the get up on the red zone touchdown today, and he's been really impressive. So I think right now on offense, he's the X factor. I think if Logan Thomas can get going and be a threat in the middle of the field, man, that's just going to open up things for the receivers. So a fourth receiver, I don't really think it matters this year, because I think the tight ends and Gibson and the running backs are going to be the fourth option in the receiving game anyways.
All right, last year we averaged 17 points. All right. If I could put you on the spot and have you look forward to the future and look in the future, how many points do we score at the end of the year? What is our average amount of points per game at the end of the year?
I'd say that I would, if we go under average, I bet they're just below 26. I think that there'll be a lot of games when you're going to see that they'll lean on their running game, especially if they get a lead and really just pound it out. With Turner, we used to get so frustrated. We'd have a lead and they'd see, on 3rd and 1, giving, Curtis Samuel a jet sweep. And you're like, what are they doing? So I think what you're going to see is, they like to get that quarterback moving forward. They really believe in, if you're not running the ball, a lot of these screens, high percentage plays. So I think it's safe to say, they will have a couple games. Arizona, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. I think they score over 30 points in week 1 versus Arizona. But then you're going to have a lot of those NFC East games where those scores are going to be in those low 20s. But I think it'll look significantly different this year, though. All
right. Well, that sounds like a lot more points. Now, I'm going to flip it over to the defensive side of the field. We haven't heard a lot about Fedoris Mathis. What we have heard is a lot about Chase Young. Montez Sweat, someone said in practice he looks like Reggie White. Doesn't translate to the game. How is our offensive line doing versus the defensive line with Chase, Montez, Allen, and Daron Payne?
Yeah, from what I hear, it's a lot more 7-on-7s. So there's not as many, opportunities for the 11-on-11s. Again, some of those have been closed to public. We don't know when on, but they really have scaled back. Because they got in trouble last year for excessive hitting. They lost a practice or two.
That's right. Yes, they did.
So they really it's been a lot more about the offense and the deep, red zone situations. Really, how the defensive backs are dealing in the red zone, and a lot less with the pass rushers. It's been more about the pass rushers and drills and things like that where they've really shined. But as far as 7-on-7, 11-on-11, there really hasn't been much chatter about them. But they're saying Chase Young, everyone's caught up with the knee brace. He's saying he's just wearing it for precautionary reasons, that he could go without it if he wanted to. But they're saying nonetheless, he's looking explosive. But they're all going to say that stuff this time of year. But I think honestly, with the way the interior defensive line is playing right now, Chase Young has a golden opportunity, and I think as long as he stays healthy, I'm not sure it'll be enough to bring him back, but I think he will have an impact this year.
Yeah, I think Chase is gone, but let's talk about Fedoris Mathis. How's he doing coming off of his injury?
Yeah, sorry about that. I hear that he's looking good, but I think with Ridgeway dealing with some issues right now, he's going to get a big opportunity to really be in the rotation. But with Allen and Young, Allen and Payne, I think you're going to see these guys easily playing 80% of the snaps. I think they'll definitely try to get a rotation going. But I think these two guys, they'll have the most snaps across the board. So, they did do a lot of packages where there was 5-man personnel up front. That'll be more of an opportunity to get him involved. But I would just say temper your expectations with him. I'm a guy that's been following Alabama for years since Chris Samuel. That's one of the teams that I've really followed the most. And, he really had that last breakout year. But prior to that, he was just average. So I think we need to temper expectations with him. He's more of a depth guy. And, to be 100% honest with you, I'd like to see them still go after someone in free agency. Ndakwe is still available.
Right.
Although he's been in 4 teams in 5 years, what was it, 9 sacks last year, 10 sacks the year before, 8.5 the year before. That's what you want. And relatively speaking, you could get him in that $6 million, $7+ million range with a lot of incentives. That's what I'm hearing. So I think that's something they should consider. But from what I understand, the change of ownership is really stopping a lot of deals going on right now. So I wouldn't expect it. Because I hear their number one priority right now is they're not saying it out loud, but Curl is that's who they know how impactful he is. Because Sweat and Young, although very good, Cam Curl is the impact player. There's a reason why they haven't invested heavily in a Mike linebacker, middle linebacker. because I do think you're going to see a lot more Buffalo nickel and a lot more, 5-6 DBs. And Curl, he's going to be the guy that's, really directing a lot of people like the Mike linebacker does. So I think that they want to get him locked up quickly. So once ownership changes, look for him to be signed quickly. But right now, Mathis, to me, he's just a guy right now.
I got you.
So,
All right.
so hold on. So this is my thing, right? It's easy to say that in the case of Chase, where you can say Curl is much more of an impact player because Chase hasn't been on the field.
Right.
Is it just more? Is it more to it than just that? Is it safe to say that maybe he's not a bust? So we talked about this with Karita, but maybe he's more close to being that than this generational player that they thought he was going to be, and that's why it's easier to say, well, I think he's gone. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, well, I wrote an article comparing him to Jadeveon Clowney. Their first 3
Yes.
Clowney only lasted 4 games, so he didn't have a Rookie of the Year kind of performance, but he played more than Chase Young in his first 3 years, even despite that microfracture surgery. So you're comparing 2 really devastating knee injuries back to back, and I think we need to keep that in mind with Chase Young. It's not just the ACL; it's the patella tendon. So
and not only that, but his rookie year, they were complaining about Sam Mills being their coach.
Right.
No one paid attention to it.
The setback.
Yeah, right. And then his sophomore year, he has like 1 sack, 1.5 sack. He gets hurt. They fired the coach on his day off in his 3rd year. So he really hasn't got a chance to work with Coach Z and Coach Kerrigan, except for at the end of last year.
Right.
So the thing that everybody was complaining about is now gone. Let him work with those guys. And it also seems to me as if I really wouldn't want to come back if my coaches keep calling me out the way they're calling him out. I mean, that's been half of the battle with Chase. Is they're always talking about just Chase. And it's not.
But
just
you know
Chase
why? Yeah, but you know why though? You don't draft a guy that high.
That's right.
Even beyond the injuries, the flashes ain't flashing, man. I would say that first year, because they made the playoffs his first year, correct?
Yeah, but
Again,
they
was that?
they
Hold
made
on,
it a losing record.
hold up. Jeez Louise, can we just comment a second here? I'm just asking a question for clarification.
I was
here.
answering your question with
Yeah, but you gave me a caveat. I just needed a yes. They made the playoffs that first year. I love the leader that he was attempting to be against that championship team in Tampa Bay. He spoke up. He showed that he wasn't afraid of the moment, and he played up. It was a lot of potential off that first year, but that doesn't go into the other moments. He didn't continue to build off of that, and then when you can't stay on the field, the best ability is availability. So he's gonna get a lot of chances, and I think that's kind of what Karita was saying, and that's my issue, is because that's how guys like Taco Charlton are able to stay in the league for years and years, and it's like you're going off the potential of what they could be because they were a first-round draft pick, when sometimes you just make bad picks. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, but sometimes these guys don't deserve to get all the chances that they get. So that was my only thing, is like he's not a bust. What is that?
That's yours.
I haven't done anything. How's that me?
I don't know.
But yeah, that was
me.
Okay,
but yeah, that was so anyway, that was my point, is just like, is he a good player? But it's like, I think the consensus is he's not going to be this guy that we thought he was going to be, regardless of rehab or coaching staff. So
and that's my point.
Was he awful last year though? Like, real talk.
He wasn't Chase.
Well.
Yeah, he played the latter half of last year. He wasn't awful. He wasn't terrible. So I'm still not understanding, like, when a guy comes back off of injury, you have to give him an opportunity to play. He played. He wasn't awful. He wasn't terrible. You didn't see a whole bunch of mistakes. So I'm still not understanding why this is such a big conversation. You know what I mean?
I actually have a question, so I'm gonna let Adam chime in. But I do have a question.
No, I'm gonna say it's the number 2 overall pick. You're gonna get that scrutiny. Yes, it's Washington, but anywhere in the NFL, the number 1, 2 pick, usually it's the quarterbacks for the most part that are getting a lot of that scrutiny. But you just have to keep in mind, 15 first round picks did not get that fifth round option, like fifth year option, like Young. So although it's Washington, a lot of teams are missing on guys, and with Young, it's too early to say this, but there could be some work ethic, off-season work ethic, because development, coaching is responsible. Coach Z, he's in the forefront of getting his players ready, but I'm seeing improvement across the board. So I think you got to stop looking at the coach and start looking at the player. We saw Payne come in. Everyone said, "Oh, he had this contract year," but look at the tape. Payne came with a bunch of counters, and he just looked like a totally different player the way he was hitting the hole. And Young, early on, I'm still hearing they're not seeing those counters. So I don't know what he's doing in the offseason. I think there's still a lot of strength and conditioning going on with that knee, and it's a setback. And it doesn't mean that he's going to be a bust and not really have a good career. I'm just not sure if he's going to have a great career. And, what I was saying about Curl is a game impactor. He impacts the game, foremost. He impacts the game. And as crazy it is to say, even though the pay scale is way outweighed for defensive ends over safeties, I do think, impact pass rushers can be found. And I think they don't always have to be found in the first round. These safeties, good luck. There's been a lot more early round safeties that really have an impact. You're talking about, the kid over with the Chargers. There's
Rap. Yep.
They're all around the league right now. So I think that this is becoming a passing league. And, I thought it was crazy at first that you're going to pay 2 defensive tackles this kind of money, but that's the way our defense is being built. It's built from the inside out. And I think that in the end, Sweat might be back. I think that they'll be able to bring Curl and Sweat back. I think the only way Young really, changed everything is I think he just has, all-pro type year. I think even if he comes in with 8-9 sacks, even, I don't think that's enough to get him the contract, because from what I'm understanding, again, it's just whispers. I try not to put too much into them, but it doesn't sound like they like him. It doesn't sound like
that's my point. That's my point right there.
Is Ron Rivera's probably not going to be here. This is last year with new ownership. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to bring a general manager in, and the first thing that general manager is going to say is, "Thank you, Ron. You did a great job with this culture and everything, but you're not a management guy, and we have better options in-house as a head coach." Because I see no way. Honestly, I've been following Eric Bieniemy for years, and I've been wanting him as a head coach. I see no way that no matter what happens with this team, that Eric Bieniemy is offered a head coaching job at Washington. I think that this new ownership is going to come in. You've seen what Harris has done with the Philadelphia 76ers, with the New Jersey Devils, which I'm not too privy about, but with the Sixers, he makes moves, and he really puts a lot of stock in, building it from the top to the bottom. And I think the current structure we have, it's more of the same of what we've seen with Washington. A de facto general manager that has to answer to the head coach on everything. It's good to have a dialogue and work with them, but Ron gets final say on everything. I'm sorry, we saw with Mike Holmgren years ago. It doesn't always work. I think a lot of things get in the way. So I think that, right now they're in the kind of situation that's trending in the right direction, because I think when new ownership comes in, they're all under a magnifying glass. But I think, you're going to have really good options going into next year. I was a big hater against Del Rio, but man, as that guy really came through. And I think what we're seeing is that a lot of the issues with that defense was Sam Mills, because once Coach Z was put, into power, things really changed. And I think now, people question the, back-to-back drafting, Forbes and Martin round 1 and round 2. I think that they realized that's what was missing on defense. Everyone thinks middle linebacker, which I do too, but that's not the way this defense is being built. This defense is defensive back centric. They're going to have a lot of, they're going to be in nickel. Forget 70%. They'll probably be in, a nickel formation.
80%.
Buffalo nickel, traditional nickel. They drafted a guy in the second round that can play, safety and the slot. So they have a plan with that. So I think right now, I really like the way things are trending.
All right, let's get in. Let's bring our number 2 in right now. So in every village there's a Papa. So let's bring in Papa Smurf right now. What's good, Sid? How are you?
Ain't nothing to it, my brother.
All right.
Sid,
What's smart for you? What's smart
I've
for
said
you?
it from the beginning. Jokey.
no, you're grouchy or something like that. But no, last thing before we move on. Welcome, Sid. Good to see you. That was my thought process, because I was thinking, I was like, last year was something about a casino, then this year you're not showing up to OTAs. a lot of that stuff is voluntary, but it's like you show up just to show face. To, you know, if you're a leader, you know, you want to, hey, I'm committed beyond question to this process. Like Coach was saying, hey, you know, Jerome Bettis and these other guys, they would just pick and choose the drills they would do, but they would be there because it's, hey, everybody's all hands on deck. So it's like, it just seems like it's more to it than just even the talent at this point. It's like, you just don't really mesh with where we're at and probably where we're going as a player and even a mindset. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this. Like you said it perfectly. I wanted to say that. You know, Curl is also in a contract year, and he came to everything. But what did he do? He dictated what he would do. He hasn't been in the 7-on-7s, all that. You know, he's let the other DBs do that. Some people might look at it a certain way, but I know how he's looking at it. He's a leader. He wants these young guys to get more reps right now. But at the same time, he knows that, you know, his value, he doesn't need to mess it up in, you know, 7-on-7, 11-on-11.
Mm-hmm.
I think that behind closed doors, he's being told, we're just sorting this out, and you're the priority.
Ownership.
So,
all right,
you know,
so
he's making sure to be in drills. So, you know, I think it's something to watch.
Okay, Adam. So listen, we have a question that we get asked by one of our guys who joins us every month at the beginning of the month, and we decided to pass this question on to every guest that we have this month. So, are you ready for the question?
Sure.
All right. So, Dump Truck Don, here it goes again. All right. The NFL has been around for quite a few years, 100 plus years, right? We need your top five NFL players, regardless of position. Your top 5 NFL players, regardless of position.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'll start with, you know, Darrell Green. I got to start with him. You know, he's you know, although to me, him and Deion Sanders, you know, a lot of people will argue, you know, mostly locals will argue who the better one, but you know, I would definitely go with Darrell Green. And he said top 5, right? So
yes, sir.
I'll start with Darrell Green. Right after that, you know, Randy Moss. Randy Moss is one of the most, you know, enticing, you know, sensational receivers I've ever watched. You know, I watched him from the second he stepped up to Marshall, and you know, he was actually supposed to go to Florida State. So that whole thing, you know, there was some racial tension, and somebody said the wrong thing to him, and he punched him. So I can only imagine what he would have been. He would have probably been the best college receiver of all time if he went to Florida State. So Randy Moss is in the second. As pained me as it is to say, you know, Lawrence Taylor, I think was one of the most impactful guys that I've ever watched. And I know that you know, people talk about Deacon Jones and a lot of these guys that are way before my time, but you know, Lawrence Taylor was just amazing. And fourth, not necessarily in this order, but man, Reggie White. Reggie White was just you know, it's not just, you know, what he did, it's the fear that, you know, he instilled in players that really separated him from, you know, some of the best. And, you know, and I know I'll come up with some, you know, probably, you know, better guys than this guy, but, you know, considering, you know, he just passed away, he would be, you know, if I talk about 5 to really build a team with, man, Jim Brown, you know, Barry Sanders, him and neck for me for my top. But man, Jim Brown in his prime, whew, I think you have those 5 guys, you know, you could probably argue some of the best of all time.
I like your list. You have some of the same people we have on our list. I know Jim Brown was there for sure. Randy Moss was on a couple of lists. Jim Brown,
Adam, I'm sorry. Let's just stop it for a second here. Let's get to the elephant in the room.
What?
You're gonna look with a straight face into this camera, into the world, and say Darrell Green was better than Neon Deion Sanders. Yes. I didn't ask any of you. I said Adam.
You're a hater. You are the world's greatest hater.
Dude, knock it off. I'm asking Adam.
Well, I'll tell you what put him over the edge for me, and I agree. And listen, I said neck and neck, but what put it over the edge for me is, I think people give him credit for going to all the different teams, winning Super Bowls, and I do. It's really impressive. But to me, the way he did in Washington, to stay there his whole career, you know, I met the man. You know, I met the man when I adopted my dog at the Humane Society. He was there for a charitable event. And I think, you know, you just put all the intangibles together. To me, yeah, I take him. If I've got to take, you know, a cornerback in his prime, if you watched it, you know, I think it's one thing to watch the highlights, but when you saw what he did on the field, man, Deion Sanders, sure, game impact, everything. But did he really make the guys around him a lot better? I'm not sure about that. I think that he was an awesome player on his own, but did he impact the whole defense?
Adam, you are killing me.
Why? Because he
Adam,
chose
Adam,
he
you,
chose-
Adam, this
chose
is
one
what
of
you're
the
doing.
50th greatest players.
Adam, this is
That's
what
his
you're doing.
list.
You're literally
yeah.
taking my arteries and you're ripping them out. You're bleeding me out with
You're so
this.
extra.
Listen, get him a humanitarian award. Listen, get him a Man of the Year award, all that stuff.
That's his list.
Hey,
That's
him
his
and
list.
hey, listen, hey, you guys, you love to jump in, don't you? Just hold your horses there for a second, okay?
Nobody hating on your list.
Now, hearing him and Aaron Rodgers, they can all take their Man of the Year awards. You said impact players. We're talking about on the field here, buddy. I'm sorry, Neon Dion, baby, stop playing with me. And it ain't because he's a Dallas Cowboy as well. He's just that guy. We can move on. It's fine.
And nobody complained about your list.
Yes, you
You're
did
sitting here
actually.
complaining about
Yes, you did
one
actually.
player on it.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't complain about your list.
You weren't here.
I did. I was here when we
You
gave
were here
our
for that
list.
one?
Yes, I just wasn't here on Tuesday.
Okay. I got the days mixed up.
Got you. I have my list because Jim
Pardon?
Hardy was on my list.
Pardon.
Lawrence Taylor was on my list.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not for me, even as a guy who didn't grow up in that era, to not put Jim Brown on my list because he was my favorite as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Barry was like high when I was a kid. Everybody wanted to juke like Barry, but when you watch film and see the stats and what Jim Brown did, it's hard not to put him as the top dog. You know?
Exactly. All right. So give us a player to watch, Adam. Give us a player to watch in camps through the preseason. Who do we need to keep our eye on?
It might not be, the sexiest pick, but I think, we're hearing a lot about Sadiq Charles and how he's looked really good. And, he's ahead of Paul for the starting left guard. But man, I really like Chris Paul. I scouted him coming out of Tulsa, former right tackle. He's a guy that, I think a lot of the rest are obvious, but I think he's one that not many people are talking about. Him and Gates. I think Gates are the new center that used to play for the Giants. Those are two intriguing guys, but Paul, very intelligent player. They're going to be using him, I think, as a swing tackle and a guard. I think in the end, it might not be week one, but I think Paul will end up being the Washington starting left guard for the next 5 years, at least.
All right. Anybody got any more questions said? I know you just jumped in.
I'm good.
You good, Lady A? And
I've harassed him enough already.
Adam, man, listen, we really want to thank you. Thank you for joining us and always being available to us. I told you that earlier when I talked to you. Man, make sure you guys read the Burgundy and Gold Report. Adam drops great nuggets. I sort of try to lead into some of those questions, with my questions into some of your articles and stuff like that. Man, we really appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. BurgundyandGoldReport.com. Just follow me and check me out. Really appreciate it.
Hey, and he's good to follow on Twitter too. He's pretty good to follow on Twitter. He jumps into some conversations sometimes. He knows what he's talking about.
Sometimes I regret it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Adam. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks,
All
Adam.
right. Lady A jumps into the big box. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. You complained about my background noise, so I keep turning my mic off.
All right. Well, you might as well get ready to leave it on because you're up.
You looking like she just came from a funeral.
Oh,
I thought you had some high. At first, it looked like you had some high shoulder pads on. I was gonna say, "Oh, y'all was burying somebody, big mama."
I had my elbows on a higher desk.
Okay.
All right.
What you got for us, Lady A?
I mean, it's some drama going on, y'all.
Oh, it's that time.
It's some drama. That's
Hold
what
on,
you thought. That's what you wanted.
I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Look,
And why
see
you
it?
run away, Ant?
You ready? Oh, you know what he's grabbing.
Oh, he grabbing some tea. I got
Let's
some
do it.
tea.
Let's get it.
Mhm.
Let's get this tea.
Let's
Let's
take y'all
get this
sips
tea
of tea.
popping. Mm-hmm.
So we all know Zion Williamson. I'm messing his name up. It seems that Mr. Zion Lateef Williamson
Oh, not his
has
whole
gotten
name.
himself
Lateef.
into a little
You
bit
call
of
him
a
the T.
pickle.
I'm calling him the T.
That's what his mama named him.
I'm gonna
He's
call
gotten
him.
himself into a little pickle. Okay.
Pause.
Say,
There you
put that
go.
down for a fine.
Well, I said cut his camera off. So Zion has now revealed he's having a baby.
Congratulations.
Right.
A lot of athletes tend to do that.
Right.
Problem is that Zion's girlfriend, Akima, is not the mother, nor did she know that this baby was coming. So now we go to Twitter, Instagram, any social media that you can go to has now put him on blast. And it is a nasty situation for many reasons.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yes, because apparently Zion has been going around with a couple of different women unprotected, because that's how you get these children. And I'm trying to figure out who Mariah Mills is, and she put all their business out in the street.
All their business.
She said she might be pregnant too.
Ooh.
Outside of the other girl. So
whoa, wait, hold on.
Some of these people,
I've been there,
seem to be the ladies of the night. And
excuse me, do they have a soul?
That's all on you, Vic. Okay, so they're in the industry. Yes, that industry. That industry. And it's just just all his business is out. Uncovered, pun intended. And he was so proud to be a girl dad. They had like a firework gender reveal. Like, so he went big to announce this baby that he had outside of his relationship.
I think she's doing this on purpose now. I think she's doing this on purpose.
And shout out to Sid's reference on the last show. Apparently he's been shooting up whatever club he was in.
All of them. And we're not talking regular clubs. We talking them clubs, okay?
Yep.
They got poles. The clubs got poles. Down in the valley.
And it ain't election season or nothing. I'm trying to figure out what is going on with this gentleman. But not just the but I mean so one of the young ladies apparently is she got a few movies out, and those kind of movies, it's just bad.
So they're not in theaters.
Not in theaters.
Home theaters.
I don't think they do those kind of theaters anymore.
Yeah, they got home. They use those projectors.
They got some.
Yeah, you can pull her up on your phone probably, but
you might get a virus.
It's
you listen. Never mind.
It's just all bad, and so that I thought that the stork brings the baby. That's what they say all the time. They got the stork to bring the baby, but apparently it's the pelican. Okay. It is the pelican.
I see you, Jay. Hey. I see what you did there.
There you go. So, I mean, you can read more on it, and I can't even quote. This is a family show. I can't quote this young lady's tweets of how she felt, and
so she was in her feelings.
She was in her feelings, and she was just revealing all intimate details. She's hurt. I get it. She's hurt. And nowadays, that's what people do. They go on social media. They put everything on blast. But Zion, if this girl is pregnant, and then you got another girl that might be pregnant, and then you got the girlfriend over here, Zion, what are you doing to provide for these?
You got an NBA contract.
Huh?
Oh, he's got money. What you mean?
NBA
he
contract.
Has money, but what is he doing on the court, y'all?
Oh well, he already
Well, he
signed a
ain't
big
worried about that
contract.
part. Yeah, he ain't worried about that part.
He'll be back
He needs
strong.
He needs to worry about that part because if you want to behave like this, you need to keep up with the finances and you need to make sure you secure because they securing the bag, right? That's what they're trying to do.
Oh,
they
gonna
trying
get
to
the bag.
secure the bag.
I never heard none. Listen, we done heard a lot of blowback from him. We ain't heard none of them say he got a problem going long and strong. Jay Black seems to have been in our group text recently.
Yeah, he was. I don't know.
But that's what with Jay Black. That's what we're referring. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Like, get yourself together.
She said she's the reason why he got in shape.
Right,
Yep.
but what shape was he in?
Well,
Plyometric.
apparently he was doing a lot of cardio.
Yeah, she said you the
Pilates.
She said I did so much for you.
Tantric.
I'm the reason why you got in shape.
That
Who-
Bikram, that
Who got
Bikram
him out
yoga.
of shape? Who got him out of shape?
New Orleans food got him out of shape. Waffle House.
Yeah. Because after he got done, he went right over there to get him a po' boy and some
He went
jambalaya.
there after he let out the club.
Yeah. All right.
Because you know you'd be hungry once that 2 o'clock. I ain't never seen more triple meats come through the. Never mind. That don't even strike that. Have that stricken from the record because that was not the way that's supposed to.
We about to cut
When
that
I was a
out.
kid, when I was 16, my first job was at Whataburger.
Mm.
Where are we going? Where are we
Let's
going?
restart.
Hey,
Let's restart.
Let's transition now from the NBA. We'll get back to the NBA here in a second when we go back Denver and the Heat. Right now, let's transition back to the NFL. And what you got?
All right, guys. So first of all, shout out to Bruce Glass who checked out the latest episode of Cultivating Conversations. I sure appreciate you, my brother. He was in the comment section and everything. I appreciate you for that. So anyway, moving on. I think that it is a grave, dire tragedy that the NFL is trying to make the running back position obsolete. This is the reality. Every position, 1 through 11, and including Zion Williamson, all of those positions are important, okay, on a football field. And the fact that they try to make it relevant or not relevant based off of where the NFL is going is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I want to go back to when the running back position was actually important, and I actually watched this on YouTube, and I took a screenshot of it. Everybody's going to remember this moment. I believe it was a Sunday night game between the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. Tom Brady has the ball at the 2-minute warning. It's 4th and 2. They go for it, but they don't run the ball. They take Kevin Falk, and they flank him out in the slot. He catches the ball, but doesn't catch the ball initially. And he gets tackled, and they end up losing that game. Peyton Manning goes down, and they drive. Right. This is the thing. It matters what running back you have back there and what they can actually do, and to try to make it seem like certain guys are more expendable or just as expendable is just not true. So what I want to do is go to the stats over the last 5 years since Dalvin Cook has been in the NFL, because this is who this is centered around.
Right.
Who do y'all think has been the number one leading back in the NFL since Dalvin Cook came into the league? Top back, yardage, all of that. Who do you think it is?
Since when?
Since 2008. Since 2018.
I thought he came in 17.
Yeah, but I mean, give or take. I mean, I know the season's coming. Right, the season's coming.
Yeah, no, good. No, I'm.
You say Chubb. You say Derrick Henry. You say Chubb. Who do you say?
I'm going with Don. Don said Derrick Henry. I'm going with Don.
Okay, so it is in fact Derrick Henry who has 7,100 yards over that time frame.
Right.
Okay, then it goes Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott. And that was based off of his first couple years, by the way, for those of you who know anything about football. Dalvin Cook, and then Aaron Jones rounds out the top 5. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to point this out. Dalvin Cook has less carries than any of those players.
Yeah.
And if you take away Derrick Henry's 2,000-yard rushing season, he's actually at the bottom of that list. And then that's not even, and he has fewer attempts than all of them. So less carries, less games played, and less carries. And he's kind of middle. He's 4.7 yards a carry, which still is outstanding.
That's really outstanding.
For a running back. Now, Nick Chubb is leading everybody with 5.2, and then we have Jonathan Taylor, who's at the bottom, not the bottom of the list, but he's like 11 or 12 at 5.1. So, and then I also saw a stat that says he has almost like 1,500 yards receiving during that time frame. So, how does a top 4 running back in the NFL consistently get cut in today's NFL?
Money.
That's not good. Say that again. Say that again.
The Vikings.
It's the Vikings. It's not the money. It can't be the money because, listen, all of these guys have been paid, mind you. Derrick Henry, if he hasn't been paid, is about to be paid. Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, and Aaron Jones. All of these guys are worth their salt. Well, except for Zeke, he's been dead for 2 years. Yeah. But even then, he's still the third leading back in the NFL. The numbers have proven it, and he's 28 years old.
But what is their cap situation? What is the Vikings cap situation?
No. Hold on. That isn't the point. The point is you decided to pay that quarterback. You decided to pay that guy. Hold on. But you took Mr. You Like That from the Washington Redskins, who did absolutely nothing for them, if we're being honest. I mean, well, they did have a winning record with him versus, the other guys. But that's beside the point. That's not saying anything. That's like saying you're the tallest midget. But the point is, Dalvin Cook is not a bad.
Say your disclaimer.
Is that the new disclaimer with say it's tired? He said that means no, don't do it. But anyway, the bottom line is
what you said. That's what it means.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying. This is the reality, though. Dalvin Cook, who's been in the league for a few years, has still produced at a very high clip.
Right.
And those other guys have been put in greater situations to perform than he has. For a few years, he was the only guy that they had, and he still performed at an elite level. Whoever gets him is going to automatically be that much better because the NFL and the running back in the NFL is still very much valid, but it's a very short list of people who actually deserve to be paid money, and he's one of them. Sidebar.
I agree with you.
Hold on. Let me say this final thing. Sidebar. I just want to say this one. I just want to say this last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Lamar Jackson is number 8 on that list. That's all I wanted to say.
And I gotta ask you a question before say it gives us these cap numbers here.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that any team that is trying to win would just cut a player without a reason?
I say yes, depending on who it is, because I also thought about this. Remember the stat that we looked at last year for them was that point differential, right? For the Vikings. Right. They had the most wins for 3 points or less or something like that, right? The statistics say what? That is fool's gold. In the next year, it is going to be proven correct because those bounces are not going to happen. That team, I'll make my stake right now. They don't make the playoffs this upcoming year.
I don't think they make the playoffs this year either.
Yes.
They got off to a hot start. And they continue to ride that wave. They played a lot of terrible teams. Right? The Commanders were when they should have beat them.
Well, we're not getting into that.
And when they they beat the Commanders, but the Commanders should have beaten them. That's what I'm saying. Is they played a lot of
the way they were playing. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, based off the way that they were playing, the Commanders should have beaten. They got away with the victory, right?
But Don, they fall off for more reasons than just Cook. That just becomes the icing on the cake. It's a 50-50 chance that the games that you won the year before, when you win by 1 point, 3 points or less, that you lose those games the following year. It's a very high stat. They're not going to be that good next year. It's just that simple. So that's just what the numbers tell you.
But here's the thing: they went 13-4 last year, and Cook had a big part in that.
Yes.
Wow. That to me it's strange. I mean, he had a big part in that. So again, Pick, you asked that question, what team is trying to win and they get rid of a key player? The Vikings. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But he has a 4.7 average per carry. That is really
It's elite.
It is elite. It is
It's
elite.
it's number.
You don't get rid of elite players for no reason. Don pointed out a great point when he said injuries. When he said injuries, I'm saying it's got to be the money. It's a cap thing, right? Because if you ask a player to take a pay cut, you got to be ready to cut them. It's got to be a cap thing. So, say, what does their cap look like?
They got $9 million in they got $9,700,000 in team cap space.
Because they cut
Dalvin Cook's. Wait a minute. Dalvin Cook's post June 1st cut. My bad. Post June 1st cut is dead money is $5 million, but they saved $9 million by cutting them after June 1st.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's a money thing. So how much? So they really only have the $9 million left.
So no, it's a money thing. If you're going to cut him, it's a matter of when you're going to cut him. But no one said they had to cut him. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to cut him anyway, then choose wisely as far as when you cut him.
Which was a post June 1st cut.
But no, they didn't cut him to save money. Like, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Like, what are you about to do?
Yeah,
sign your draft picks.
Huh?
Sign your draft picks.
They cut him. They didn't trade him. They cut him.
Exactly. You saved money.
Yeah, I just hate that you make it sound like it's just that simple. This guy is on pace to easily go over 10,000 yards rushing. He's like, who said that he got hurt his first year? So he's got a lot more in the tank than that, and he wasn't showing signs of going down. This guy was still busting off 60-yard runs. I'm just saying.
I'm in agreement with you. You're trying to make me argue with you.
No. I'm not trying to make you argue with me. I'm telling you that you're making it as simple as cutting him for money, and it's not like that when you get this type of production. The backup guy ain't that. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying.
You're helping prove my point.
Yeah.
I can pick out probably 5 people on their team they can cut before they should have cut him.
No. And I'm not proving your point, because you don't just say, well, we're going to save the money, we're going to get half the production, and that's just fine. No, not when you're trying to win. You got rid of your tight end. You rightfully got rid of Thielen, because he really wasn't that guy. He wasn't matching that.
Right.
But but then my question is this. I know that and I can't even think of his name. He's so terrible to me. What's the guy, the white version of Dak Prescott? What's his name?
Kirk Cousins.
So is his contract is fully guaranteed, correct?
Fully guaranteed. And they didn't pick up another option because this is his last year. So they parting ways with him. They parting ways with Kurt at the end of this year. They're not even going into negotiations with him.
But do you see how bad that is, though, when you gave him all of this money free and clear, and he's probably been the number one reason why this team, who everybody said was a ready to win now team, especially with Kevin McConnell or whatever his name is coming in to coach, and they were a dud. It's because of the quarterback position. So we're still looking at the elephant in the room, saying, oh, well, that's a good cut because he's a running back and it's the money. When it's like, no, it was the quarterback all along. You shouldn't have gave him all of that money in the first place. I'm just saying him. So
your argument really is quarterback on a rookie pay chart rather than a veteran.
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily, because there's
people that are saying that they overpaid Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and the price that you pay is you lose a guy who's really a generational talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get that at running back. I'm telling you, that guy's good for a second contract. I'm sorry, and a lot of them aren't.
And I'm in total, for once, I'm telling you, I'm in total agreement with you, right? I am absolutely with you. Dalvin Cook is a great talent. He still has something left in the tank. He's putting up great yards per average. The thing is, can he stay healthy? And then he literally deserves a second contract, but you can't afford him because you are paying Kirk Cousins a fully guaranteed contract, and now some other team out here is going to benefit from that because you ain't.
That's Miami.
Miami
was already trying to trade for him.
Have Dallas? And have they signed and have they paid Jefferson? Have they paid Jefferson yet?
No, he's coming up.
So here's the thing: they could have easily restructured Dalvin's contract in order to make room to sign Justin Jefferson. People do stuff like this all the time. So
Yes.
For me, I'm like, you cut him, and you have who's up next? Alexander Madison.
He's not a bad guy. I'm not gonna lie. He's a good runner. I'm not hating on him.
He only had
He's
283
not
yards rushing last
Dalvin.
year.
But when he came in to spell him, he had some good spurts. I'm not saying he's definitely not Dalvin Cook though, but he's a decent runner. And I agree with Lady A really quick. I'm like, you could have restructured Dalvin. You let Kurt fall off the books, sign Justin Jefferson, and then trade for a guy that you can get in that's a veteran or something like that, or a backup that's not being utilized to try to, because any of those guys are going to be just the same as or maybe better than Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry.
All right, hey, I got a dark horse. Let's figure out where Dalvin Cook is going to wind up. Y'all tell me a team that y'all think he'll wind up with. Give me a favorite and then give me a dark horse. Let's see what happens.
I think Miami's the favorite just because they were, like he said, said he was already they were trying to trade for him, and I'm assuming they have money for that. My dark horse would be Dallas though, and I'm being serious about that. I mean, you have Tony Pollard, who is the guy now, right?
Right.
And then we picked up a guy or two, but none of those guys are gonna still be able to beat out. Hell, Ezekiel Elliott couldn't beat out Tony Pollard. He just had so much money on the books, you had to start him technically. But you talk about him going to a team like Dallas and that being able to alleviate a lot of pressure off of Rain Dakota Prescott. And I think that's the first legitimate move that makes Dallas dangerous to get a guy like Dalvin Cook. They don't need him. They're not picked for. He's not going to the 49ers.
The 49ers. I don't think the Phillies got him.
They already got a two-headed monster. They don't need three guys. It's just that's just absurd.
So here's my thing. I look at it like, okay, yeah, Miami wants him. They've already shown interest. Perfect. But the team who really needs him, I don't like this team, so it's not my team.
Buffalo.
There's a few teams I don't like, but it's not one of my hated teams. It's just not my favorite.
Okay. So who is it?
The Broncos desperately need him.
The Broncos. Okay. All right. So who's your dark horse?
No, the favorite.
Okay.
Is Miami, and then other than that, I'm saying that the
Broncos.
Dark horse is the Broncos, which they also said are interested in him as well.
All right,
I saw that earlier.
Kansas City. Oh, nice pull, Don. Okay, say it. Tell me who your favorite, and give me a dark horse for where Dalvin Cook winds up.
He's from Miami.
Okay, that's your favorite.
He's born and raised. He's from Miami. And Miami was already trying to trade for him once they found out Minnesota was going to cut him. Prior to, they were trying to trade for him already. They got Mozart is the lead back in Miami. Just like Dalvin Cook, he gets hurt every now and then.
So where's
you have a 1-2 punch between Mozart and Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. So tell me your backup team or your dark horse team to get him.
I mean, I can't say Kansas City don't have the money.
I'm like, how do they keep getting people? I'm getting annoyed with this.
They restructured Patrick Mahomes.
Jeez Louise.
They restructured Patrick Mahomes.
You know what? Might be San Francisco.
San Fran. Okay. I got you. Okay, that's another one. All right, listen. Here. My favorite for him to go to, I hate to say it, I think my favorite is for him to wind up in Dallas.
That would be great. I'm not going to lie. I'd love to see him with Tony Pollard. Jeez Louise.
All right. Oh. And then my dark horse team, and this one right here, it just hit me. Detroit. That team is a team that listen. I'm just saying they did. They absolutely did. And then they signed your boy's backup, Swift's backup. Right? They re-signed him. But Dalvin Cook has proven. And what do players like to do? They like to prove the team that they just left wrong. They're in the same division. He would see Minnesota twice a year.
Oh yeah, that would be good. I ain't gonna lie. I just want us to get somebody that's actually worth it for once. But I ain't gonna lie. I would love to see him playing against Minnesota because I'm almost certain that Detroit is going to be better than Minnesota, and it's not even going to be close.
Detroit is going to be fire this year. Detroit did just draft him in the first round, but Hey, they do have the cap space. That'll be a heck of a 1-2 punch because the kid they drafted is lightning fast.
Say what is ours? Sorry, Pick.
Oh, Don said he'd be better off going to Chicago.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Not gonna lie. That would be
really nice.
That would be cute.
Can you put him?
20 million.
Oh, we can sign that boy. Yeah, that'd be cute. But yeah, hey, 20 million, come to Death Row. Hey, 20 million, come to Death Row, man. If you don't want somebody all in the videos.
Hey, how's that second guest doing?
But the Bears have the most cap space.
Oh, they ripe for the pick, and
the Bears then.
They over there with the Birdman hand rub.
Right. Or a tree of y'all.
All right. Say it. You ready to jump into some NBA?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So
I am. Cross this leg over. I'm ready. Let me scoot up.
Let me get off of
Hey, by the way, Los Pantalones.
There you go. Yes, sir.
let me get off of Zion and then.
Tango del Gato.
I'm not messing with y'all. Okay. So he had game 3 yesterday in Miami. The Joker came to play. He came to let serve notice that I'm still the MVP of the league, and Miami came out ice cold at home.
Ice cold.
Even their fearless leader, the mid squad guy,
mid-range himself, Mr. Oh, what you call him? Hey, hold on. What you call him again?
Hey,
Himothy buckets.
Himmy.
Keep it going.
It's Himmy.
He did not like the energy that they brought to the game. And,
it was hooey yesterday.
They had to understand that this is a playoff, and then you don't get too many shots to win a championship.
Don don't miss nothing. He don't miss nothing, bro.
Nuggets had 2 players with triple doubles.
Yep.
And
Murray and Jokic. But the thing is, they those open shots cost them. Vincent, he got in foul trouble early. He missed a bunch of open.
Yeah.
And Tyler Hero still hurt. They already ruled him out for game 4. Him and that broken hand.
And is he supposed to be a savior if he comes back? Honestly, like I don't
know. But I will say this: you won't leave him over no open 3 like you did the rest of them, because that's what he does. I'm talking about. I've seen him.
He also fits into that role of the Vincent and all these other 3. Like they're if they're making them, they're great. If they're not, they only have 70 points at the end of the third.
He's one of them guys. He's one of them guys. If he's sitting there by himself, like the shots Vincent and him have, he's gonna drain. I ain't talking about somebody standing in front of, running behind, and pushing to the side, shooting that 3 and miss. I'm talking about we have pregame shootout. Pause.
Oh, whoa!
You're not gonna miss those.
First off,
you gonna hit nothing but
pregame going downhill.
Said they turn real freaky lately.
Said if you pre-gaming, I don't know why you shooting off.
Right now.
Whoa!
Right now.
Hey, actually, if you pre-gaming right, a pre-shoot off actually is the smartest thing because it's gonna get you ready for the game. So, actually, that's not your logic isn't logicking.
Hey, do not try to make sense of this because you're gonna be right in the corner too.
I'm just saying. A little pre-shoot off is actually my bad.
But but for real though, that's the difference that Tyler Hero makes. If you're gonna leave somebody, because they got to the point where they let Vince. They just told me to keep shooting, and they were leaving him out there too. Let him shoot because they knew he was off.
Yeah,
they were letting him shoot. At some point, they were okay. Yeah, let him shoot. We can rebound.
Do we think that's going to happen in game? Okay, Miami, the game that Miami played yesterday was terrible. Defense was garbage. Oh wow, I can't even put that
Jay,
comment
you
up
gotta go in corner two now. What is
Jay,
going on?
Jay, if I put that comment up,
Exactly, Jay. That's what I'm saying. They don't act like they don't know what I'm saying here. Little pregame, little pre-shoot.
Hey,
listen, I'm not the one getting fined. Said it. All right, so I don't know, man. I don't think that Miami comes out with the same energy for Game 4.
Wait, hold on. What energy are you speaking about, Pick? Because they came out on fire. No. They came out. They went up big early. That's a fact. No.
I'm speaking of.
It's not big early.
At home. That's a. Hey, look, we finna go and blow these boys out.
No, they was quickly down 9 at the half, and it just got worse from there.
Tell of 2 quarters.
Right. So, listen.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I don't know, man. I think that they'll pay more attention to the defense, the defensive side, and stop some of these.
You're right, Don. Yeah, Don. Oh, you're absolutely correct, sir.
Oh my goodness, these comments cannot go up.
Okay, I think I know what the problem is.
All right, you on that?
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right, so who do you guys have for Game 4? Game 4 for the finals.
Denver Nuggets.
Finals are Denver Nuggets. Okay, say it.
I gotta go with the Nuggets, man.
Going Nuggets, Lady A.
Miami seem to play better on the road, man. I mean, it's proven money.
so because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Miami.
You going Miami? Listen, I think it's a great investment to bet Miami every time they hit the floor.
What?
No, it's not. They're horrible. Listen, they've lost their last 3 home. They've lost their last 3 road games. Home games. You know that, right?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Ant. You are 100% correct on that. Right?
You know they down, right?
I do know they down. That's the dog. Sure. They are the dog. And since they're the dog, I'm riding with a dog. I think we have a live dog in the fight. Miami is plus 133 right now. And the spread is only at 3.5. We got you, Chuck. All right, so look, let's bring in our guy Chuck from Vegas to get us ready for this weekend's Belmont.
I don't think he's ready yet. Still.
Wait, huh? Wait.
He is. He's ready.
He's ready. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's ready.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
There you go with the curly W on his head.
Yo, what's up?
How are you?
On, Chuck?
Yeah, I got technical difficulties once again.
Yeah, I got you. All right, hold on. Okay, yeah,
I was just about to do that pick. Okay.
Yeah, we got it right. Okay, cool. Hey, Chuck. So they drew spots for the horses. Go on, break it down for us. Who's the fave? Who should we? Go ahead, say it.
Hold on. Before you say that pick, there was an announcement just came across the screen. There's a chance they're going to cancel the Belmont.
Yeah,
if
because of the weather.
Goes to 200 particles per million, I think it said.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's a chance they may get canceled. I'm sorry, Chuck, but I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I heard about that. I think they're going to just postpone it, though. I think they'll probably just move it back a week. They canceled the races there today.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. They canceled the races there today, and from what I'm hearing, it's going to be tomorrow, too.
The weather is playing, and the Belmont is in New York. Belmont is in New York, so the air is wreaking havoc all over the East Coast of the United States right now. The wildfires that is. So stay tuned to the weather and everything like that. So if they push it back, then we're looking at a Sunday race.
No, we're looking at next Saturday.
Next Saturday, a whole nother week. What does that do to
the earliest? Or they might just cancel it all. I can't see them canceling it all together on the 50th anniversary of Secretariat. And they got tickets sold already, all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll just be a postponement.
So what does this do to the horses? Because I mean, you have to ramp these horses up for this, right?
I don't think it's more so the horses. It's more so the fans. You got people that having trouble breathing. You got jockeys, and, trainers, and everybody else, backstage people, groomers. Everybody else has got a face. So I don't think it's just the horses in this situation. Yeah. You're gonna have over 50,000 people there at the Belmont on Saturday.
And pick also, they canceled the Nats game against
the Nats game today. That was the 1:00 game.
So you got to look at here they're canceling a lot of stuff. They kids can't stay after school for outdoor practices and stuff like that. They're canceling everything, and we're not in New York. New York got it worse than us right now. Well, we're in our air quality is purple right now. They got colors I ain't never even experienced.
But from what I'm hearing, it's like the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes.
And I don't smoke.
And I'm like, plenty of people do hookah there. Hookah bars, predominate the East Coast. So why y'all crying?
Oh,
you just saying, you sound like me when we talk about strippers.
So
wildfires.
You ain't got no filter with this. You sound like me when we talk about strippers.
even with hookah, if you take a pull of hookah, you can breathe regular air. There is no escape to this.
But it's still, even if you inhale it outside for 24 hours, it is the equivalent of one pack of cigarettes.
Hey, there's a Sergeant General's warning on the side of that box as well. And I guess the Surgeon General. There's a Surgeon General's warning on the side of that pack. So I guess they're telling us right now, stay in the house.
It's kind of funny because if you know New York, it's it's kind of funny because New York is home to some of the highest cigarette prices in the nation.
Right.
They trying to get them to quit.
They can just go right outside for 24 hours and I can get the same effects as one pack. Sounds like a good deal to me.
That's terrible. It is bad.
It is bad. Okay. Bad. So we looking at postponement. All right. So,
but if it does go, because I heard that I heard they posted had some crazy windstorm that's gonna blow it out of there over the weekend anyway.
I can't.
All right. Wait. How many horses in the Belmont this year?
9.
9 horses. That's a small field.
That's typical. It's anywhere from about 9 to 11.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
So who's
10.
The fave here?
Forte's the favorite once again.
Forte. Okay.
Yeah, he's back after his long layoff with a bruised foot and comes back after the trainer got suspended, Todd Pletcher. Forte's, I think, 5-2 favorite.
5-2. All right.
Yeah. To me, this is the wrong race for him. I wouldn't have brought him back for this. I'd have tried to run him back in the Travers. But I understand you got to get him up and you got to get him going. So, he's been out for about 2 months now.
Since the Kentucky Derby, right?
That's what she said.
Yeah, before that, he hasn't raced since I believe it was Florida Derby. I think it was that.
Right.
Yeah, he had a bruised foot. So, I mean, he's been out for a while. I don't know if you run your horse 1.5 miles after a bruised foot injury, but...
Right. This is a longer race. This is the longest race on the Triple Crown circuit.
This is one of the longest races in horse racing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, just outside of the Triple Crown. But, I mean, all of the guys in this, he's a beat already. Yeah, all of these horses in here are nothing compared to Forte. So, it's still technically his race to lose, which is why they made him the early morning favorite at 5-2. He also has, Irad Ortiz riding him again. He's still jockey of the year. The guy just won 3 races a week ago. And, yeah, I mean, 5-2, that's right for odds for him. I still don't think he wins, though.
Who do you think wins?
I don't think Forte's got it in him to go down there. It depends on that last final furlong. If those other guys are in there, because he loves to beat the crap out of them. Like National Treasure, Angels, Empire. If those dudes are in the mix, then Forte will probably go and take it. But outside of that, I think he might gas out. I just don't believe he can go that far with a bruised foot, 2-month layoff. I don't care if Gary Stevens is on him. I still think he probably gasses out and maybe finishes second or third.
Okay, so who do you like for the win?
I like the number 2 guy. He was my sleeper in the Derby. Finished 7th. Tappet Trice.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason why I do this is because Tappet is his pops.
Tappet twice.
Yep.
Tappet Trice.
Trice.
Yeah,
okay.
Trice. It comes out of the
That's 3 times, right?
Legendary horse.
Yeah, I like that.
Anybody who picks Belmont horses, you're already like trained to pick the gray horse. So technically, there's this weird theory that gray horses can last longer. But Tappet.
Hold on. Pause. You got to say pause when you say last longer, Chuck. I mean, you already told us to tap it Trice.
I didn't think that this was that kind of show, but I know.
But these Bammers catch everything.
Right.
No, but I got a question though. I got a question.
Pause. Go to
because I got a serious question too.
We know the air quality. What about the track? Have they gotten rain out there? Is it just dry? Is it perfect? What have you heard about the track itself?
They haven't had any rain out there for quite some time.
Okay.
So yeah, there should be a regular dirt track day, regular.
Okay.
But that only makes it even worse. If it does get some dampness, they get some precipitation. I still like number 2 to win it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He's going to definitely be in there. He had 4 straight wins before the Kentucky Derby. He's a gray horse, comes out of the Tappet. He finished 7th in the Derby. I like him to go hit the board, and then be in my super effective box. Tappet Trice, number 2. But let's run through them all real quick.
Okay.
All right, let's go to number 1. Tappet Shoes. There's another Tappet. There's a lot of Tappet blood in this race.
All right.
Tappet Shoes. Tappet has, I think, he's produced 4 Belmont winners. The great Tappet. Jose Ortiz is riding Tappet Shoes. He won the Belmont about 5, 6 years ago, on another Tappet horse, Tap Rack. The only good thing about this horse is he's Cyberknife's brother. He gets better every time. He's got Brad Cox as his trainer. Brad Cox got 2 or 3 horses. He's an up and coming trainer, soon to be one of the good guys with Todd Fletcher, Steve Ashman, and Bob Baffert. But this horse ain't won since December. You know what I'm saying? He never been this far. So number 1, you can scratch him out of the super factors in your exotic.
Okay.
Let's go with we already did Tappet Trice, so let's go to number 3, Archangelo. Archangelo is the worst entry in this race. I don't understand why his owners and connections got that greedy to put him in here. I heard that the entry fee was $50,000, but there still seems something wrong with that number. But anyway, he's never done. This is a two-turn race. You go around once and go around again. But Archangelo never had a 2-turn race ever before, so I think they're trying to test him to see what he has. But I just don't think this is the right time to test him. So Archangelo, along with number 1, you can knock him off your superfectas and exotics and any kind of win place show bets you might put on him.
Okay.
Those will be your long shots right there. And I'm not quite sure what their odds are now.
What about Hit Show?
Hit Show, he's later on. Let's go to number 4. National Treasure. National Treasure was the guy, he's a Bob Baffert horse, so follow Bob Baffert. He's the Tom Brady of horse racing. Forte's already beaten this guy once.
Literally.
Yeah. That has. If you compare, it's almost exactly the same. With the suspensions and everything else. Yeah. Yep. The cheating scandals and the wins. It's almost the exact same thing. I think National Treasure gas out. I don't think he'll have enough but I think he'll get at least 3rd. So I like 4 to be in there somewhere. You can't count a Bob Baffert horse out.
Right.
And that's why he won the Preakness, because Bob Baffert put him in there. He was back. He's not suspended no more in New York.
That's right. And Red Route 1.
Red Route 1, yeah, we'll get to him later.
Okay, good.
So yeah, I like to put you got to put a Bob Baffert horse in the mix. The problem is his odds are going to be too crazy to win any money. So if he goes down to say 2 to 1, then I start placing him. Go win play show on him and then put him in your superfecta. box or your trifecta box. Let's go to number 5. Miracolo. He the long shot horse. Not happening. You can already just scratch him off. Yeah, not happening. No, that jockey is not even ready for the Belmont. So
I was gonna say, has this jockey and this horse, when you read up on him, it's like he's just entering races.
Yeah, there's a lot of that though. That's one of the problems in our game. There's a lot of fillers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and that's due to connections and all kinds of. Oh, let's take a chance here. But I mean, if I'm the connection to this guy, and I see Forte, National Treasure, and Angels Envy in this race, I'm not going to take a chance with my horse.
Right.
That's just me. But all right, so let's go to Forte. We already got most of all of them. I think he's going to be in there. So we can look at 624 for your trifecta box.
624. You got that right? Say it.
624 currently. 624 trifecta box.
Okay.
I guess I need to get a piece of paper and write it down.
Let's go to Hit Show number 7.
Yep.
Hit Show is another one of Tappett's. He's got some good Tappet blood in him. He's gaining speed, gets faster every race. Only thing that concerns me about him is a couple races ago down at the Wood Memorial, he got smoked by a 30-1 long shot.
Oh.
How long was this race? Was it a short race? Was it a long race?
No, it was about a standard mile and 1/8 at the Wood Memorial. Lord Miles was actually supposed to run in the Derby. That's the guy who beat him. He was supposed to actually run in the Derby, but they scratched him that same day. So Hit Show, he actually ran, I believe, 5th in the Derby. So yeah, if you want to put him in there, I don't trust him after that rundown on Lord Miles.
Oh, he got caught from behind. He got the whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh my God.
Yeah. He thought he had it home cleared, and homie came out of nowhere. It was like,
oh.
I wish I'd have put some on that 30-1.
Yeah, that was a good one for the Wood Memorial.
Yeah.
Let's go to Angels Empire. He was, I think 3rd in the Derby.
Yep.
In my opinion, Angels is the 2nd best horse in this. He's super fast. He's going to benefit from the pace. The question is, can he go 1.5? If you want to put 7 or 8 in your superfecta box with the 624, I can see you doing that. I can see you doing 6-2-4-7 in the trifecta box.
In the trifecta.
You can do a 4-horse trifecta. I can see you doing 6-2-4-7. Or 6-2-4-8, and then superfecta box with all 5 of them.
What's Angel Empire's odds right now?
Good question.
7-2.
7-2.
Yeah, see, that's still like you're gonna. In order to make some money on this race, you're gonna need somebody that's not 5-2, 7-2, 9-2. You're gonna need one of these long guys. Like that's why I like Tappet Trice at 3-1.
Right.
Okay.
You're gonna need some money in these exotic bets to win anything. There's a difference between winning and winning some money.
Yeah. Yeah. You win $2. That's not really winning.
Right. Like
that's
you
good
win
answer.
some money.
Cute. That's
but
cute.
when you come up 175, now we're talking, and you should double down.
Horse racing, you still get bigger.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Marquee level race, there's just not a lot of value in this race unless you go with one of the extreme long shots. We absolutely have no chance of winning.
Yeah.
With the distance, they almost went there. My bad, Ant. Almost went there.
Paul.
almost did. I caught myself.
Go Caps. Hey, hold on. Go Caps. We don't know. We just know about the horses.
Thank you.
Like that distance, huh?
Pause. Hold on. First off, Go Caps is 16.
I don't think he was talking about her.
No. Go say it. Go say it.
Whoa! Let's not throw me out there after that.
No. You had something you wanted to say. I'm trying to get us back on track right now. What are you talking about?
Oh man!
What did I miss?
Don't worry about it, brother.
I'm trying to figure it out too.
It was a misunderstanding, but it was bad.
I'm just listening to what he's saying. I mean, I'm still learning on the horses at the same time. And as you're explaining, I'm trying to understand what you're saying at the same time. I really don't have any questions. I'm absorbing everything you're saying, and I may or may not try to play something later on just to see. But I really have no questions. I mean, I asked you about the track because I know a wet track is going to be different from a dry track.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Precipitation out there. So, you answered the question I had. I mean, other than that,
I got a question. I got a question.
Playing for some rain.
When you were talking about Jockey of the Year, who were you referring to, and what horse do they have? That's my first question.
Ortiz Jr. He's riding Forte.
And so my question with that is, how much of that breakdown has to do with the quality of horse versus some of these guys are just way more skilled at whatever being a jockey is, you know what I'm saying, or even time with the horse and things of that nature? Because I never understand that.
Yeah, man. It really just depends on skill level, timing, luck, post draw positions, staying away from injuries. There's a lot of things that factor into it. There's a lot of great jockeys, but Jockey of the Year is based on wins. And it's simply put, Iran has been putting up the wins.
What's a post draw?
Post draw is like
post draw. Okay.
You see how we going through the horses 1 through 9?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
These are the actual positions. They have to be in like a lottery to pick these positions. That's what you call post draw. It's like post position. It's like same thing they do in NASCAR.
Okay. Yeah. Point system based on okay, I got you. Based off where you finish.
Really, but in horse racing, it's not a point system. It's just a draw.
Okay.
Yeah. So like your best horse could be the number 1 in this race. You'd be number 11 in the next race. It really just depends.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it depends on how many other people are in the race and the size of the track, length of the dirt. There's a lot of things that go into it. But yeah, for Jockey of the Year, it's basically about wins and time with the horse. And sometimes, like, an owner might make a change if you're not really, that they feel as though their horse is better than what you're making it perform. They'll make a change and put another jockey on. And if he starts winning, then, hard to argue.
Right.
That is interesting. I'm like, I ain't never seen I'm just not no disrespect. I ain't never seen no black guy who was this well versed in this arena. That's what's blowing my mind. I'm like, you going down through there with it. That's super cool to me, man. Because I know it's money to be made. I'm serious. One of my friends that was watching it, she was like, "Yo, me and my mom, we be placing bets and stuff like that." I'm like, this is a whole new world to me.
But people gotta realize, man, we started this shit.
Whoa. Pause.
We started this stuff. That's what he said. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we started. Why we can't say that word? Oh, my bad. But we started horse racing. People need to remember that. Like some of the early forms of racing, they were all black guys. The forms that they used to come up with the trifectas, the superfecta, all those daily racing forms, those are made by black dudes. People don't know that. All those jockeys that won the first couple derbies and all that, those were black guys.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were slaves.
Yeah. Didn't know that either.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, think about it. If you're a rich guy with a horse, what's the last thing you want to do? Pay someone to ride it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we started all of that, man. And, before everything came about with the NFL and the NBA and the Super Bowl and all of that stuff, horse racing was the event. It was the major premier sport of the country. That's why you have some of these tracks that are so large they can fit 160,000, 100,000, 120,000. There was only college football was bigger than that. That was it at the time. It was college football and horse racing.
Right.
And shouts out to North Carolina. They just legalized mobile wagering and horse racing today.
Which makes sense on why in Texas you can't gamble, but we got a track. We got a horse track. That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. We got the horse racing though.
Track.
Yes,
I was really disappointed in Texas, man. We had a lot of bills on the floor to get some gambling going on in Texas, and it just totally went left. That's how North Carolina was too. North Carolina was the same way a couple of years ago. They couldn't pass no legislation to get it in there. And I guess they got tired of all that money going to Virginia. I've actually done this in person.
And this is what's happening here in Texas too. Is all of our money goes to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
When people want to go and do what they do, they go up to Oklahoma and place their wages.
That's also because of Jerry Jones too.
No, Jerry's on board now, right?
Yeah, he's got to deal with them. He's got to deal with the WinStar Casino.
That's right. He does have that. But I mean, like, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it backstage. Because I got some insight right there. Okay.
So we got one more left.
Okay, let's go.
9 horse Red Route 1.
Yes.
This guy, I guess he benefits from the name because he really hasn't beaten anybody other than Tappan Shoes. In my opinion, he shouldn't even have been in the Preakness. He couldn't win that. He got caught in a bad pace. His style of running is a stalker. So he got pressed in the fast pace of the Preakness to jump towards the lead, and he just got tired. I think he's more of a sitting in back around the middle of the pack, like 5 or 6, and then charge on at the end, and not overexert himself too early.
So does he?
If he has a fast pace in this Belmont, I think he'll probably lose. But if you want to have a long shot, I'd be safest with number 9.
So that's my question right there. Is the Kentucky Derby was fast, the Preakness was fast. Is this going to be a fast race?
That all depends. You just never know. Pace is one thing that you just can't predict.
Red Route 1, 15:01.
If I was to do a long shot, it would be him.
Red Route 1. I mean, you said he's a stalker, so
that's his style. But if you don't run your style, then you're just as good as any other horse.
Right. Okay. So we have to ask you our question of the month. It's actually from Don Wilson, who's still here in the chat with us. All right, Chuck. So we're gonna switch you from horse racing real fast. We're gonna jump you into the NFL. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So get your NFL hat on right now. So the question is this: your top 5 NFL players. Your top 5 NFL players, regardless of position.
Of all time.
Of all time. Your top 5 of all time.
All right, well, I'm a little young, so I don't really know too many of these older guys. I haven't really seen the footage, only what I heard and played on video games.
This is your top 5, sir.
Top 5, I'm gonna go with. I guess we gotta do a quarterback, right? So I'm gonna go Tom Brady, number 1. I'm gonna go Deion Sanders. I'm gonna go. Let's see. We got top 5 all time. You guys are making this really, really tough. Because I like a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, just go.
Yeah, because I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to break it down by position in my head.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm gonna go Tony Gonzalez.
Okay.
I'm not mad at that. Ooh, I'm not mad at that.
Lawrence Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, have you heard his recent interviews? The stuff that he did and still played like that?
Man.
Coke vendors, car on fire, show up to the game, sack first play. Unbelievable. Right. Hey, man, I got a game to play.
Unbelievable. So I got Lawrence Taylor. And then my last one.
No, you only that's 1, 2.
No, he did 4.
That was 4. Okay, yeah.
I got Tony Gonzalez, Deion, Tom Brady,
Lawrence Taylor,
yeah, and one more.
Okay,
man. I kind of want to be tempted to go old school, as old as I can go. Man, that's tough. Let me get a good running back. That's tough. Damn. All right, I'm gonna still go with Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, not bad. All right, okay. So you got two. You got 2 goats in there. You got
no. He's got a lot of goats in there. That's a fire list. All those guys are goats.
Lawrence Taylor.
All those guys are goats.
Hey, his list is pretty legit.
That's fire for you to say. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of guys that I could have went with. You know what I'm saying?
But for you to go a little bit past where you were, and I mean, because you like you said you're young, so you didn't go real old school. You didn't dip back to like Jim Brown.
Don't let him fool y'all.
I mean, I wasn't around with Larry Zonka and them. You know what I'm saying?
Don't let Chuck fool y'all. Me and Chuck are the same age. I'm young, yes.
Okay. Okay, that's just.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I wasn't around with Franco Harris.
Yo, Lady A is wild, yo. But anyway, thank you for not picking a Washington Commander or for Redskins just for the sake of it.
We have greats in the game, you hater.
I'm saying thank you for not picking it just for the sake of it and just because of the podcast, because I appreciate that. Sheesh.
I mean, my favorite Redskin player was Ricky Sanders. That was my dude.
I mean,
what position did he play?
Wide receiver.
Okay.
Part of the posse.
Yeah.
Okay. Those y'all had a posse?
Yeah, the fun bunch.
And Scott was he won't be here.
That was their name was the fun bunch.
Their name was the fun bunch. Yes.
And you've heard Doc talk about the fun bunch.
Yeah, Doc came on here and said that.
Baptist finger.
I would love to break that question down by position, though.
Oh,
so let's if we can, like maybe next time or something, let's do a top 5 by position.
Hey, listen, that's Don's thing. So he gives us
down there make it
Don is in the comments all day. He gives us the question and we just ask. I
got top 5 punters.
Top 5 punters.
Yeah, I got top 5 punters.
We got one right now.
Ray Guy better be on that list.
Right now. I got a punter right now that is playing right now that I'm gonna put on my list.
Are you talking about Tress Way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Hey, you are a hater. Haters.
Don't say, "Oh, come on." I've been talking about Tressway. I've been telling you since
Reggie
the day I stepped foot on this podcast. That man, it's not just that he's talented, but on top of that, the way he is with his teammates, don't do it. And I'm about to. Oh Lord,
I'm only talking skill level.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, hold on, Chuck, stay with us. All right, let me switch this up real fast. All right, say it. Did we cover everything? Say it.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Don't say it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Say it. Yeah, just say yes.
I'm gonna go with yes. I'm gonna go with yes for 900.
Yes for 900. Okay, well maybe I should ask Lady A. Did we cover everything?
There you go.
Yes, we did.
We only had 3 topics.
We did.
Good job, Lady A.
And we worked them. Listen, we worked them jokers too. Hey, we appreciate each and every one of y'all that's in the chat. We really do. Thank you to Adam for joining us earlier today to talk a little Commanders. Thank you to Chuck for getting us ready for the Belmont, whether it be this Saturday or next Saturday. Hey, you guys should know that our NFL schedule, our NFL show is all set. We're going to come at you guys on July 15th. July 15th. We're going to have Travis Thomas, Tom Viola from Vegas, and Chuck from Vegas will be here with us as we go through the NFL. We're going to give you MVPs, best top running backs, wide receivers. We'll pick every division winner and playoff scenarios and all that. We'll get you all set so you can place your bets and get your money to marinate and put you in the best possible position to win some money. So that's July 15th. Mark your calendars for that show. It's going to be a great one. And that show will start early. It will start an hour early because we're going to go through everything. All right? Okay, say it. You ready?
Who did that?
I was trying. I don't know who hit the mute button, but all right, say it. You ready, man?
Nobody hit the mute button.
Somebody hit the mute button.
Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force. First Street Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Tell them, say it.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Ready for your beats? All right, talk to the person.